Hello, I'm Mbweha. You can call me Ben of Team Relentless, and this is the Playbook, where you can come to learn to do something very specific in Star Wars Legion a little bit better than you did before. I hope. Today we're talking about Snowtroopers. What do you mean Snowtroopers are barely in the films? They invade Echo Base. There's gonna be tons of clips of them.
No.
12 seconds in the whole film and they're mostly just getting blown up or standing behind Darth Vader? Just give me the best you got then. Snowtroopers in Legion have been given roughly the same treatment as Snowtroopers in Empire Strikes Back, which is to say that they are mostly a background piece and rarely ever seen used. However, after their points getting adjusted twice, access to new upgrade cards, and some errata to some very important other Empire units, there's an argument to be made that Empire players should be taking at least one unit of Snows in every list. Let's see why. Number 1, the basics. Snowtroopers are extremely good at making a steady advance towards your opponent's army. See what I did there?
Jeez, I cracked myself up.
The reason why is because 2 speed 1 moves is actually the exact same as 1 speed 3 move. So they can action 1 move, action 2, move and fire with steady. This makes them actually better at moving and shooting than any other core unit in the game. Steady also allows them to move out from behind line of sight, fire, and then move right back out of line of sight again. A very situationally powerful tactic. The other 2 big advantages Snows have going for them is their red saves, which are often further improved by making good use of aggressive tactics, and their surge to hit black melee attack, which is the strongest melee attack available to a core unit in the game so far. Number 2, Flametrooper Loadout. Pretty much the only loadout we've seen people historically taking with Snows is some version of the Flamer. Blast combined with 1 surge to hit black attack die per mini in the defending unit have always made an incredible attack pool, but the problem is getting the Snowtroopers alive and unsuppressed into a position where they can make that attack. Because of that challenge, it becomes basically mandatory that you fill the personnel slot with the Flamer loadout for the extra wound. And often you may actually want to take the Imperial officer in the personnel slot so that you can boost the unit's courage to 2, making them that much harder to suppress.
Help! Help! I'm being repressed!
The other upgrade you'll see people use in this loadout is impact grenades. The advantage here is not just the stackable impact X for tossing these at armor, it is upgrading all of the white dice from the rest of the minis in the Snowtrooper unit to black dice for a measly 3 points. Now you can take droid poppers for the same price if that floats your boat more to have ion instead of impact, or if you're willing to pay 5 points, you can take frag grenades and have red dice and surge to crit. Now real quick, I gotta address something because if I don't, it's gonna appear in the comments. Yes, you can take the lat and deliver the Snows exactly where you want them on the board safely. The problem with this strategy, however, is that the lat isn't very good. But hey, if you're a player who wants to try pulling off double bunker buster TIE pilot lats loaded out with flamer Snows and you can make it work, more power to you. Number 3, Gideon Loadout. Alright, this part right here is worth the price of admission, and yes, I am aware the price is $0. But anyway, my point is, Gideon Hask should be in every Imperial army right now. He's either going to be in Inferno Squad with an item list, or he's going to be in a unit of Snowtroopers in literally any other list. Here's why. He adds 2 health to a red save unit. He adds 1 courage to the unit. He adds 2 red dice to a surge to hit unit, and he has coordinate core trooper. Now I like to run him along with a comms tech so I can put HQ uplink and use that to have much better order control when my commanders play 1-pits. But if you feel like that's too expensive for a core unit in an Empire army, then at least just put a generic Snowtrooper with the unit so that it is extremely points efficient defensively.
Whoa.
If you also run a unit of Shores and a Mortar in the list, then every time he uses the uplink, he will generate 3 orders and 1 aim. Number 4, Hostage Exchange. Snowtroopers are, in my opinion, the best hostage escort unit in the game. Yes, I know the B2s have a higher defensive rating than Snowtroopers, even according to my own numbers, but the steady keyword allows you to use your hostage escort unit to really punish your opponent while keeping your options open for whether you want to go full aggro or actually retreat towards your deployment zone. While you might be tempted to make Gideon Snows your hostage escort unit, I would always use Flamer Snows over Gideon if you have it available, and of course it's even better if they have an officer in the personnel upgrade slot. The reason why I prefer using the Flamer is because if you do choose to go full aggro, it's likely that you are going to get 2 full strength shots out of that unit before they ever even get shot at once. Against whites save 1 health per many units, it's entirely reasonable to think that you could knock out nearly 2 activations using this strategy.
Now that's a lot of damage!
Yes, you might lose control of that hostage in the long run, but if you put your opponent that far on their back foot at the beginning of turn 2, they're going to have a hard time running forward to grab it from you in the first place. In fact, if they do spend actions trying to move and claim the hostage, that's just more time for you to move up and fire at those units. If full aggro doesn't seem like the right choice based on deployments or conditions or army lists or whatever, your Flamer Snows are still going to be able to turn 1, move and take a pot shot at something at range 3, and then move again, setting themselves up for turn 2. On turn 2, the goal is to be able to move and get a range 1 Flamer attack at your opponent's hostage carrier, and then continue moving back towards your own deployment zone. And again, because of steady, they're able to do all of this firing while constantly moving. They're always retreating towards your deployment zone while still punishing your opponent as they do so. Number 5, mass T7s? Right, so this feels a little crazy to say, but bringing 2 or 3 T7s is surprisingly good. Snows with a T7 and a generic personnel upgrade cost only 70 points. That's a mere 5.71 points per defensive rating, making them comparable to droid core units in their defensive efficiency.
That's incredible.
I know. Right now a bunch of you are thinking, but Mbweha, you can call me Ben of Team Relentless, their attack isn't very good, especially because you have to exhaust the card whenever you use it. Sure, so let's also bring along Veers with electro binoculars. Now they have incredible access to aims, especially because they can already aim and move and shoot because of steady. Turns out their attack pool with only 1 aim is likely to produce 4 or more hits 65% of the time. With 2 aims, it jumps to 4 or more hits 80% of the time. And yeah, you have to recover the next turn, but you know what? You can still recover and then move and shoot again.
They're going steady!
And of course, making good use of Imperial Discipline will allow for a free refresh at some point when it's critical in the game. Not to mention the turn that you play Coordinated Fire and generate a whole bunch more aims again. In the current meta, having Impact 1 and Ion 1 is extremely relevant. How often do you play a game now and your opponent doesn't have either armor, a vehicle, or a droid?
Yeah, good point.
The ability to prevent something like a T-47 or a unit of B2s or Magna Guards from attacking one round cannot be understated. No, I'm not saying that this is the best archetype out there, but it is surprisingly good. I ran a version of Mass Snows in Invader League 7 single limbs, and I won one and I lost one. What I would say about Mass Snow lists is this: if you like to roll a lot of dice, you'll really like playing Mass Snows. Last note about Mass Snows: pairing them with the new Commander Vader will allow you to make use of his Compel keyword without any fear of ever panicking so long as Vader stays alive. Bonus. Remember when using Gideon Snows to chain orders to not get too spread out and to use clever cohesion to extend this coordinate range. Remember that if you play a whole W list like Mass Snows, your strategy is a little bit more dice dependent than some other strategies. Just keep this in mind going into the game because it might bite you in the rear at some point. Don't get too salty about it. Summary. Let's review. Number 1, Snowtroopers are steady, pretty durable. Number 2, Flametroopers represent a significant threat on the board that your opponent cannot ignore. Number 3, Gideon Snow should be in just about every Imperial list except the ones that are using him in Inferno Squad. Number 4, Snows love hostage exchange. And number 5, Mass Snows, including ones with T7s, are an excellent whole W list archetype. Now you know how to use Snowtroopers better than you did before. I hope. If you like the video, please prove it and subscribe if you're into that sort of thing. I'm Mbweha, you can call me Ben of Team Relentless, and this has been the Playbook, Snowtroopers.